Berlin is a city that never forgets its scars. Underneath the glittering lights of the TV tower and the high-end boutiques of Kurfürstendamm, there is a world made of concrete and silence. This was the kingdom of Victor the Kaiser Draxler. Victor wasn't your typical mobster. He didn't wear tracksuits or loud gold chains. He wore tailored charcoal suits and spoke with the cold precision of a clockmaker. He was the Don of the Schwarze Hand, the Black Hand, an organization that controlled everything from the shipping containers in Hamburg to the digital crypto laundering dens in Kreuzberg. "The world is changing, Klaus," Victor said, staring out his floor-to-ceiling window. "In the old days, you took a territory with a gun. Now you take it with an algorithm and a handshake." Klaus, his loyal enforcer, a man who looked like he was carved out of Bavarian granite, nodded. "The Russians are pushing from the east, Victor. They don't care about algorithms. They care about blood." Victor turned, his eyes like flint. "Then we shall give them a lesson in German engineering. Blood is messy. Efficiency is eternal." The conflict began at the port of Hamburg. A massive shipment of high-end industrial tech, valuable not for the hardware but for the encrypted software inside, was hijacked. The culprits? The Volkov Syndicate. Victor didn't send a fleet of cars, he sent a single message. When that was ignored, he authorized Operation Nightfall. In the dead of night, the port's automated crane system suddenly came to life. Without a single human operator, the massive cranes began moving containers like giant chess pieces. The Volkov trucks, waiting to spirit away the stolen goods, found themselves boxed in by 40-ton steel walls within seconds. By the time the police arrived, the Russians were trapped, and the cargo was already being diverted to a private warehouse owned by a shell company. Victor had won the battle without firing a single bullet. But Boris Volkov, the Russian head, wasn't a man who appreciated efficiency. He wanted a war. He bombed one of Victor's favorite beer gardens in Munich, an act of disrespect that broke the unspoken rules of the German underworld. Victor sat in the ruins of the beer garden the next morning, holding a charred wooden coaster. His face was a mask of calm, but Klaus knew that look. It was the look of a man who was about to dismantle an empire. "They want the old ways?" Victor whispered. "Fine, we go back to the Iron Age." The next week was a blur of tactical strikes. Victor's men, all former KSK or GSG-9 elite soldiers, didn't drive by and spray bullets. They used drones. They used precision. One by one, Volkov's safe houses were breached using silent thermite charges. No noise, no witnesses, just a signature left behind, a small black iron coin. The climax took place in an abandoned Cold War bunker outside of Berlin. Boris Volkov was brought there, blindfolded, sitting across from Victor. "You think you are a king?" Boris spat, blood dripping from his lip. "You are just a businessman in a suit." Victor leaned forward into the dim light. "That's where you're wrong, Boris. A king protects his people. A businessman protects his profits. I am neither. I am the infrastructure. I am the roads you drive on, the signals your phone sends, and the very air you breathe in this city. You tried to break the machine. Now the machine breaks you." Victor didn't kill him. He did something worse. He handed Boris a tablet. On the screen was a live feed of Boris's offshore accounts being drained to zero, and his legal deeds being transferred to the German government as anonymous donations. "You are now a ghost, Boris," Victor said, standing up. "In Germany, we don't like waste, and right now, you are a waste of my time." As the sun rose over Berlin, Victor walked through the Tiergarten. To the tourists, he was just another wealthy executive enjoying a morning stroll. But as he passed a park bench, a man tipped his hat. As he walked by a cafe, the owner gave a subtle nod of submission. The war was over. The streets were quiet. The dawn of Germany had proven that power wasn't about who had the loudest gun, but who had the strongest grip on the silent levers of the world.